If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu, plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book on a championship Saturday. I'm Jeff Parles. Happy to be with you as always. Let's just go right into it. Let's dive right in. We got a lot of good college hoops games to go here today. Double-digit championship games, a few semifinals, bids to potentially be stolen and more across the board. Two bids that will not be bid steals. We can start with what's going on right now. We start in Rhode Island. Well, actually, both of these games are in Rhode Island right now. We start with Bryant and Maine, the America East Championship game, which was our extra board fun today. Closed 8 with Bryant at home in Smithfield. Bryant currently up 4 on Maine. Right now, 8.5-point favorite. So slightly bigger favorite right now than they were pre-flop here with the Bryant Bears trying to make it back to the NCAA tournament. Maine trying to get there. Maine trying to get there for the first time in a long time. Founding member of the America East. Actually, forget first time in a long time. It would be the first time if Maine were able to get to the NCAA tournament. 78 seasons without a postseason berth. 78 seasons for Maine. Not what you want. But currently not looking in good shape. Down by 5 against Bryant right now. Bryant, of course, the favorite, the 1 seed in control right now. And in the other game at a neutral in the Ivy League, and we'll look at both of these games right now, but we'll start with the first one. Yale, the 1 seed and the best team by far this year in the Ivy. And look, since they've moved over to the Ivy League tournament, which, again, to me is stupid. There shouldn't be a tournament in this league. Ivy Madness. We started doing this tournament in 2017. The 2 seed, there's only been 5 of them because this is number 6 because COVID in 2020 canceled it. They didn't have an Ivy League season in 2021. The 2 seed has won 5 of the 6 championships. Princeton in 2017, the initial year, is the only team to win as the 1 seed. So it's been very hard for Chalk to get through this tournament. And right now, Yale, who, again, by margin, the best team in this league, closed 7-point favorites, up 3 with 5 minutes to go in the first half against 4-seeded Princeton, a little bit better than your boilerplate 4-seed in this league. Game 2 of this Ivy League playoffs, Dartmouth and Cornell. Dartmouth making their first appearance in Ivy Madness, amazingly enough. 194th in Ken Palm, taking on the 132nd team here. The only thing I can tell you about this game is that this game is going to be played at an absurdly fast tempo. Dartmouth 24th in the country, Cornell 20th in the country in tempo. They're going to want to run, boys. They're going to want to run. 159.5. The only question is, this is a playoff game. No chance at at-larges for this league, obviously. Does this grind a little bit just because it is a winner or a home spot? But if we go off the regular season data, this game should be played in the 160s. So I guess maybe a little bit lower just because of the 150, because of the fact that this is a winner or home game. That'd be the only reason we'd be looking at that. Would only be an overplay for me. But again, tread a little carefully, especially since this number has been bet up from 157 here at the South Point and as low as 155.5 in other spots. All right, we're going to go in order on the rotation numbers now that we got through the two games that are at the top. We go to the A10. 1 o'clock local time in D.C. VCU, the dominant number 1 seed, who handled their business against St. Bonaventures yesterday, will take on the 4 seed Loyola, who, nice little win yesterday against SLU. Covered that game as well, winning by 8. The only matchup this year between these two teams was all the way back on January 4th, conference opener for both. VCU won by 19 in Chicago. Now, this is a totally different Loyola team that started 3-4 in conference, and then since the month of February's come around, they've won 10 out of 12. They played really well down the stretch. Their only losses were road games at Duquesne, a game where Loyola just couldn't shoot the ball, and SLU vaporized them at Chaffetz Arena in downtown St. Louis, or just outside of downtown St. Louis, I should say. So you look at this league, VCU clearly, even if they don't win this league, I believe VCU should get in the tournament. Whether that's going to Dayton or getting right into the bracket, that's to be seen. But I would put VCU in. Now, the issue for VCU is they lack quality wins. Their best win this year is Colorado State. So if you have the argument against North Carolina, who has one quad one win all year, you have UC San Diego, who I believe is a better team than VCU, also has a better win with Utah State. Well, maybe not after today. We'll see what Colorado State does. We'll get to them later. But VCU might not have the greatest of arguments for a at-large, even though I believe they should be in. They are clearly one of the 68 best, or would be one of the best 34 at-large teams, I should say. Loyola should be able to keep this game tight, though. I thought this game probably should have been 7.5. It opened 10.5, got bet down. Still like Loyola, even at the worst of the number here at this 9.5 in this one. Should be able to keep this game tight. And look, if VCU runs them out, so be it. VCU is that good here in this one. And then the second game, George Mason, St. Joseph's, the 6 seed, favored over the 2. George Mason with a dominant second half yesterday against GW to advance after a very shaky first half. They held the the Revs, I should say, to 23 second half points. Dominant second half showing by George Mason. St. Joe's was actually my pre-tournament pick to win this tournament. They are very talented. And to me, they were the second best team in this league. They beat Dayton, who is arguably the second best team, and I know George Mason has the seeding, but analytically wise, Hawks are a better team. Now, I thought this should be pick, even though I have St. Joe's as slightly a better team. I had St. Joe's against George Mason earlier in the year. They should have won in Fairfax, a game that they led by 16 and blew. George Mason won by 1. But I would look to the lower seed who is favored in this game. Looking at St. Joe's, and again, even though I have Loyola covering, I expect VCU to win. A 1v6 where the bubble teams, again, there have been some bad results for some bubble teams, especially in the Mountain West. Could be trembling in their boots if VCU does not win this conference, because VCU versus North Carolina or the loser of the Mountain West game today or San Diego State. The close competition between all those teams. All right, let's go to Indy next. Big Ten. The Big Ten. 1 o'clock local time in Indy for Wisconsin and Michigan State. Both teams impressive in their wins yesterday. Both teams covered. Wisconsin still making three-pointers. They only won by 16. It wasn't even really that competitive. Wisconsin shot 60% from three. Not sustainable, but I will say, I wonder if Michigan State ends up being the beneficiary of just some regular regression here today. The first matchup between these teams was not too long ago, at the beginning of this month, in East Lansing, and Wisconsin was 5 of 32 from three. And Michigan State only won by 9. So it depends. This all depends on what type of regression you think hits today. Does the regression of the horrible shooting game in the last matchup for Wisconsin regress, or does the insanely hot shooting of yesterday regress to normal? Even if it regresses to about a 35, 34% shooting game for Wisconsin, I actually like the Badgers here. A little bit of revenge. As much as I like this Michigan State team, and they are good, they are a legitimate Final Four national title contender to me. I know some people don't buy them because they don't shoot the three well. They are that good defensively. And they're efficient enough offensively, even with the bad three-point shooting. But I like Wisconsin here today. I like them outright to buck the Spartans in this one. Again, I think the positive regression from the horrible shooting night against Michigan State last time they played outweighs the potential negative regression of how well they shot yesterday. So I like Bucky and the Badgers here in this one against Michigan State. Second semifinal, Maryland just vaporized Illinois yesterday. And credit to Michigan, who I was all over as, hey, this team's really not that good. Finally, a win by more than 4 points. They beat Purdue by 18 yesterday, an impressive showing by the Wolverines. With that said, I actually think this number is too high. There is no justification to Maryland being 3 points higher against Michigan than they were against Illinois yesterday. There's no justification for that. There's no way to me that Michigan is 3 points worse than Illinois. Even with my issues with Michigan, they're not 3 points worse than Illinois. So I'm staying off of this. I was fully prepared to lay Maryland like 2.5. Maybe Michigan is a half point worse than Illinois. I think the number's off, but again, I don't like Michigan that much. They're just, again, if we're just using just a little bit of logic here, Illinois can't be 3 points better than Michigan to me. They just can't. I'm sorry. But staying off Maryland, Maryland's really good. Those big guys, and look, it was a little bit of everything yesterday. I mean, geez, they had 57 points in the first half against Illinois yesterday. And Rodney Rice made 7 threes. But this is a Maryland team. Again, if I trusted Willard a little bit more, I would say they could have title contender written on them. They're 11th in KenPom. They're just outside of that top 20 on both sides, 30th in offense, 6th in defense. Good bigs, good team. Again, I just don't trust Kevin Willard. That's my biggest issue with the Terps, more so than anything. All right, we got chalk in the SEC yesterday, so we get 2 heavy-duty games in Nashville today. Tennessee and Auburn up first. The only meeting between these teams, if you remember, was a grind fest all the way back on January 25th, and Auburn won 53-51 at Neville Arena. 5.5 in this number. Auburn looked pretty disinterested yesterday, even though they ended up winning against Ole Miss. They did not really come close to covering that game. Tennessee, if you had Texas, yikes. They win by 11, so 9.5-point favorites, Vols win. This is a complete stay away for me. I don't know what to do with this game. If you told me Auburn showed up and won by 10 to 12 points, I wouldn't be stunned. If you told me Auburn didn't look invested, Tennessee more invested with, again, Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama, I think, are all alive to get that 4th number 1 seed still. All alive. If any of those 3 win the SEC tournament, they should be the 4th number 1, the 4 in the West. But I'm staying out of this. I think this is an extraordinarily tough game. And again, Tennessee yesterday, did not shoot the ball well from three, but was exquisite inside the arc. They're 65% from two-point range. So take that as you may on those numbers. And then Alabama and Florida. Florida's 3.5. Total's not high enough. I know we did not get there in the Bama game last night because Kentucky did not cooperate. Total is not high enough at 177. The only meeting between these two teams was 99-94. This total is too low. And Florida yesterday took a pretty good punch from Mizzou, but a nice methodical 14-point win. That ended up landing 176, so it would have been just short of this. But again, I expect this game to be faster than the 73 possessions that was in that Mizzou game for Florida yesterday. It was 83. You're supposed to win with 83 possessions in the high 170s. You just didn't get there yesterday with Alabama and Kentucky. But it would be only a look to the over here at 177. On the side, I think these teams are darn even. I know Florida won in Tuscaloosa. It would be a lean to Bama, but it's not particularly strong. So I would tread a little more carefully on the side. It would be the total of 177 over. We go to Fort Worth next. Tulane and Memphis. Tulane is the exact same sized underdog that Wichita State was yesterday. Memphis did not cover. Memphis really did their best to make that game as interesting as possible. I'm staying out of this. I don't like this Tulane team. I don't trust Memphis. Memphis, again, we talked about VCU. Memphis even more largely so to the bubble picture, and mostly because of what they did in non-con. I mean, wins over Mizzou, UConn, Michigan State, Clemson, Ole Miss. That is as good of a five-win collection as you're going to have in non-con. So even though, again, their KenPom rating has really been a lead balloon in conference play more so than anything, Memphis is safely in the tournament because that resume, especially in non-con, is very, very strong. I just don't think this Tulane team's really any good. That's my biggest issue here. That's why I can't really take the points with Tulane, even though I don't think Memphis has too much to play for in this game. North Texas UAB is the second game. Huge contrast to styles. It just says 135 in a North Texas game just tells you how fast the other team plays or wants to play. North Texas dominated the second half after a lackadaisical first half yesterday against Tulsa. Ended up winning by 18. 51 second half points, a huge number for North Texas. I do like the Mean Green in this game. I think they're just a better basketball team when push comes to shove. And their defense outweighs UAB's offense, and UAB's defense is horrendous. Bottom 100 defense. So I like North Texas laying 2.5 against UAB. I also will be on, again, it'll be Alex and Kenny tomorrow. I'll be on North Texas tomorrow, regardless of opponent. If it happens to be an upset with Tulane, I'll lay points with North Texas, assuming they win today. If I'm getting points with North Texas, I'll be taking money line against Memphis tomorrow, and I will be getting points in the plus price tomorrow in that game. All right, Big 12 title game. Let's hit this. Good one. Arizona with a very impressive win yesterday against Texas Tech. Houston just vaporized BYU. That win streak that BYU had, just too much. Houston's defense was too much. BYU couldn't make a shot. 21% from three, 40% from two, and under 0.9 points of possession for BYU. With what that offense had been doing, that is absurdly good stuff from Houston. Now, for this game today, I don't have a play on this game. I think everything's about right. This should be a lower scoring game. Houston should be 6 or 6.5 like they are. But this is more a conversation about Kelvin Sampson's squad. 12-game winning streak entering today. In order to win the title, if they win today, they'll have to win 19 in a row to end the year, which they're more than capable of. This team is different than what Kelvin Sampson has had there. And Kelvin Sampson has had a collection of high-end teams there. We know this. Final Four team in 2021, a few Elite Eights, a 1 seed a year ago. This team is real on offense. That's the biggest difference. Now, look, you're still a concern when You're not efficient shooting the 2-point ball. They're 261st in 2-point percentage. But unlike in the past, where they were always a middling 3-point shooting team, the highest rated Samson 3-point shooting team in Houston before this year was 2017. They were 16th in the country. That team didn't even make the tournament. They were not Houston yet. His second best 3-point shooting team was in 2018. They were 34th in the country. That was the year Jordan Poole beat him at the buzzer. And who knows how far they go if they pull that upset against Michigan, who, of course, ended up making the national title game that year. This is a totally different animal. They haven't been they haven't been in the top 100 since the 2018 season. They're number 4 in the country in 3-point shooting. As much as I like Auburn, as good as Duke is with a healthy Cooper Flagg, they kind of proved it last night, even though they almost gave away that game against North Carolina yesterday. The Houston Cougars are my play to win the national title right now. Sorry, Sean. They are my play to win the national title right now. Of course, we need to see the bracket. What could easily happen is they could get stuck with Florida or Alabama as their 2 seed, and I really don't like the matchup against Florida. That's really, of all the teams in the country, that's the matchup that scares me the most for Houston, actually, is Florida. Duke hasn't been in enough tight games. Advantage Houston there. Auburn already beat Houston once this year. I don't see a season sweep with those 2 teams. Florida's the team that Houston needs to avoid as long as possible if they get in the NCAA tournament. For this game today, nothing. But Houston, again, we'll see what the bracket is revealed a little bit over 24 hours from now. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we have about 11 title games to go. And we begin with a big one in Vegas where Boise State and Colorado State, the winner's in, the loser gets to sweat tomorrow. When we get back, Sports by the Book here on a Saturday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat. South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in. It's Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. I'm Jeff Parles. All right, let's go. Let's get going here on these other games. A lot more championship games to begin with, and we begin just down the road here in Vegas with Boise State and Colorado State. Rams did their best to make it interesting last night. They're up as much as 27 on Utah State, won by 11. Boise State continues to be a complete thorn in the side to yours truly as they managed to find a way to win that game last night against New Mexico. All I'm going to say is, if this league gets more than 4 bids, which when a Colorado State win today, it is very possible this league gets 5. The only positive out of that is we will have 5 opportunities to fade the league in the NCAA tournament, which historically has been great when you don't have Virginia on the other side. It's funny because for this game today, Colorado State's a 1-point underdog against Boise. Boise favored. They're dead even in KenPom. Boise's only 1 spot ahead of them. The 2 matchups this year were both won by Colorado State. Colorado State won by 3 in Fort Collins, won by 10 in Boise. I'm a little bit floored that this Boise team has actually won both of these games here in Vegas. It's been a long time since they've won a game that's actually really mattered. Leon Rice, of course, has never won an NCAA tournament game. May have a chance to finally bust that again this year. I don't think this league's good. I really don't. I think they're slightly above average. They're basically what the ACC is. And as I've said, the ACC, if you take Duke out, is a horrible league this year. We'll get to that title game in a little bit. Of course, they'll take on Louisville tonight. But this is, for this individual game, I had Colorado State pre-tournament. I'm not going to back off, so we'll go for the trifecta of losing when trying to go after Boise this week for me. But all I can tell you is the more bids for this league, the better for us, the bettors, because there'll be better opportunities to make some money in the NCAA tournament, because I don't think this league's any good. I really don't. All right, moving along. Let's go to the Big East final. St. John's fell in a 16-point hole early yesterday against Marquette and then just destroyed them the last 30-some-odd minutes, winning by 16. Creighton, after their near train wreck against DePaul, really dominated UConn yesterday to win by 9. It really was Creighton all the way through as an underdog by 4 points, winning easily. Now, this is 6.5. I would give home court for St. John's tonight. If it was St. John's UConn, I wouldn't, but because it's Creighton, it's going to be all red in there. Going to play as a St. John's home game. St. John's and Creighton obviously played twice this year. The home team won both. St. John's won by 6 at MSG. Creighton won by 1 in Omaha all the way back in the 2024 calendar year. Even though I do think we'll play as a St. John's home game, I think this is a little steep at 6.5. I think it's a little steep. If we get 7 by game time, I would say this is definitely a play on the Blue Jays. But I like the Johnnies to win the game. St. John's, again, the question mark for St. John's going into the NCAA tournament is their offense. We've talked about this for a while now. They are the number one defense in the country. And if you watch them, they're clearly the number one defense in the country. Feels like there's 9 guys on the court at the same time. But again, their offense, I'm still concerned about their offense long term. And again, look, their 2 non-con losses were a double overtime game they should have won against Baylor. They blew that game. And a 3-point game on a neutral against Georgia. They've been as good as anyone in the country since the calendar's turned to 2025. Only 1 loss. It was that loss against Villanova, the desperate Villanova team at the time. By the way, Villanova fired Kyle Neptune this morning. Not much of a shock there as Neptune's missed the tournament all 3 of his years. All right, for something a little bit different now. The MAC with 2 A's. Iona and the Mount. Mount St. Mary, both teams pulling upsets yesterday. Iona really just put it on the number 1 seed, Quinnipiac. The winner of this game will be going to Dayton. Iona's 4. Totals 133.5. Hey, look, Tobin Anderson, of course, Coach Fairleigh Dickinson 2 years ago. We all know what happened there. Go to the playing game, win that, and then upset Purdue for second 16-1. But, boy, neither of these teams, this really was a bad tournament for this conference, which was probably going to get a 16 seed or a 15 seed regardless. But now you're looking at, again, playing 16s. These are not good teams. 251 and 253 in KenPom. So I guess technically based off that, you look to Mount St. Mary's plus the 4. But there's no good angle in this game. Both of these offenses are terrible. 133.5 might actually be a little high, but they both are faster tempo teams. Really just a hard handicap more so than anything. So we'll stay off of that. To the MAC with 1A. Akron, the 1 seed, takes on Miami of Ohio. Good win for Miami of Ohio yesterday, even though it was the better seed and upset on the betting markets yesterday against Kent. 6.5 in this one. So the previous matchup, Akron won by 27 at home. And there's no reason to think this will be a competitive game. Akron is the more well-balanced team here. Akron is much better on offense as well. This game will be a run fest. Akron so far in this MAC tournament, averaging 98 points a game, 96 in game 1, 100 yesterday. And by the way, they're doing that with not the fastest of tempos yesterday. Only 70 possessions or 190 points against Toledo. This would only be a look to the favorite here. They're the much better team. And look, Akron has been the best team all year long. Probably be a solid 13 seed in the NCAA tournament. John Gross is at his level at the MAC. Great mid-major coach. But it would be a look to the Zips. That would be the only thing I'd look to do here in this one. All right, ACC title game. Louisville and Duke. Cardinals did their best yesterday to blow that game, but they found a way, held on. Questionable non-whistle on the next to last play of the game where Hunter of Clemson got whacked in the back of the head and there was no call. But here are the Cardinals. Again, Pat Kelsey has done an amazing job. Amazing job. Win today would be their first ACC tournament. They'd also become the first program to win a conference tournament in 5 different conferences. 27-6 for Pat Kelsey. Hey, look, I don't think he's going to win National Coach of the Year, but he should. This was a dumpster fire under Kenny Payne the last 2 years. They won a combined 12 games in 2 seasons, and they've more than doubled that this year. Now, no Cooper Flagg again for Duke. No Wilson again as well. Only matchup between these teams, you throw it out. It was on December 8th. Duke won by 11 at KFC Yum. There's nothing to take from that game. Nothing. Louisville was in the midst of not playing well. That was the stretch where they lost 4 out of 5. Granted, they were all those losses were against NCAA tournament teams. I would only look to play the under in this game at 147. That's the only look. But I don't know. Duke, again, the one thing that actually I think needs to happen for Duke in this game, and Look, I didn't handle it particularly great yesterday. They were up 21 in that game against UNC. They end up holding on mostly because of a lane violation on what would have been a game-tying free throw by UNC. Duke has not played close games at all this year. But the closer games this year, they've not handled it particularly well. In their games separated by less than 10 points this year, lose to Kentucky by 5, lose to Kansas by 3. All right, they beat Auburn by 6. That was at Cameron Indoor. Easier to pull away at home. Lose by 6 at Clemson. Beat Georgia Tech by 8 earlier this week. Beat UNC by 3. That's it. They've been dominant. But you're not going to be able to run through the NCAA tournament like Duke has run through this horrible conference this year. Playing a close game in this final is not going to be a bad thing for Duke. So if this game's within the number, even if Duke manages to lose this game outright, probably helps them starting next week because they're not going to be able to run through the NCAA tournament like a hot knife, like through butter, like they have through this ACC. And this I cannot continue. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Again, this ACC has been an abomination this year. And it should be a 3-bid league. I don't know if North Carolina is going to get in or not, but they don't deserve to. They've been one good team all year when they've had plenty of opportunities. We'll see how it plays out over the next 24 hours. I do expect to see North Carolina's name get called just because they're North Carolina, but it would be quite the farce if that was the case. All right, we go to Huntsville, Alabama next. 1v2 in CUSA. And boy, both these top 2 seeds had to fight yesterday. Liberty was in a huge hole against Kennesaw, came out of it 1 by 2. Jacksonville State almost blew a double-digit second-half lead, found a way to hold on, and they beat Middle Tennessee by 2. 2 really good games in Huntsville yesterday. This is 6 with Liberty laying it. I would only take 6 with the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State. I expect this game to be tight. The 2 matchups between these teams this year, Gamecocks won at home, Flames won at home. Jacksonville State won by 11 their game. Liberty only won by 4. I expect this to be tight. I do think the Flames win, but 6 feels too steep to me. I would take it with Jacksonville State here in this spot. All right, UC Irvine, UC San Diego. This is the game we wanted all year in the Big West. By the way, would totally prefer 2 Big West teams getting in over 5 Mountain West teams. I also think UC Irvine and UC San Diego are better than most of those Mountain West teams, but that's a different argument for a different time. UC San Diego kind of sleptwalked for the beginning of the game yesterday. They ended up winning by 18. By the way, they ended up falling a slot in KenPom with their performance yesterday. Win a game by 18 to go down. UC Irvine also sluggish early, but they end up beating Cal Poly by 18. These teams are really good. Both of these teams are really good. Irvine's a top 20 defense. UC San Diego is a top 40 team on a 14-game winning streak. These are both NCAA tournament upset caliber teams in the first round. I wouldn't have a problem if the loser of this game got that large. If it's UC San Diego, I 100% believe they deserve it. UC Irvine, it's close. It's close. I don't know. They got the win. They got the win against UC San Diego. That's their best win. UC San Diego at least beat Utah State. But in this game here, 135.5 is too low. First off, even though these are both 2 very good defensive teams. Second off, I also think 5.5 is too much. I do like the Tritons to win, but I do think there's a little less desperation for UC San Diego. I do believe if they lose, they will get in. If they don't get in, they will set the record for most wins to ever miss the NCAA tournament. Last year, Indiana State set it with 28. They would be UC San Diego would be the first 29 win team without an NCAA tournament appearance. So I would have leaned to taking the points, though. These are both really good teams. Road team won both meetings. Irvine won by 8 in San Diego. San Diego won by 18 in Irvine. Again, his UC San Diego. If they lose, they better get in the dance. This team is that good. But it would be look to take the dog at 5.5 with Irvine in this one. Another game here in the Vegas area, Grand Canyon and Utah Valley. Big time spread and total chicanery yesterday at the end of that Grand Canyon game, where Cal Baptist inexplicably called a timeout and then fouled with 2 seconds left down 7 to blow the cover, and also pushed the total as well. Canyon is a 5-point favorite as the 2 seed against the 1 Utah Valley with a total of 142. I would take the points with Utah Valley. Now, I did pick Grand Canyon to win this league pre-tournament. I'm not backing off that. But 5 is way too steep here. Way too steep. Grand Canyon, again, has been the thing with this league this year in the WAC. The offenses are pitiable. They were the worst three-point shooting team in the country, three-point shooting league in the country this year. But this is too many points with Utah Valley. This should be a tight game. This should really be a tight game. Again, both of these defenses are both top 75. Grand Canyon's offense slightly better than Utah Valley. They're two of the 3 best offenses in the league. And they're 175 and 193 in KenPom. Just kind of shows how badly this league has performed on offense this year. By the way, they're also number 1 and number 2 in conference-only offensive efficiency as well. But it'd be a take of the 1 seed getting points here at Utah Valley with 5. The extra board, MEAC title game, Norfolk State is too short of a favorite here, guys. They should be a 4-point favorite in this game, and they're 1. Would only be a bet of Norfolk in this one. They're the better team. I know they really messed around against Morgan State yesterday, only won by 3, and South Carolina State vaporized NC Central. But it would be only a play at Norfolk here at 1. They're just a better basketball team. That's all it comes down to. They're the better basketball team. And I'm only having to lay 1. Will take the number 1 seed to win and advance to the NCAA tournament. And then a game where the winner is 100% going to Dayton in the SWAC. Jackson State and Alabama State. Winner is 100% going to Dayton. Again, I think we feel pretty good at this point that the Dayton teams are going to be the winner of the MAC with 2 A's tonight. St. Francis, who won the NEC. Jackson State or Alabama State, who wins this SWAC game. And then it's probably American University is the last one, unless I think if South Carolina stand, now it's still going to be AU. Sorry, B-Flow. Probably going to Dayton here tonight. South Carolina State probably is good enough to be just a regular 16 if they were to upset Norfolk State tonight. And then SIU Edwardsville would be the only other one. Yeah, you could argue SIUE goes to the playing game over American, but alas. Jackson State's 3 against Alabama State. I do like the favorite here. Again, we're dealing with really bad teams in this game. It's 245 against 280 in KenPom. These teams stink. They're only way into the dance, obviously, is winning these games. But I would lay the favorite at 3 with Jackson State in this one against Alabama State. Winner of this game, it depends on what the matchups are. But I will tell you, if it's not St. Francis, Jackson State, or Alabama State, whoever the opponent for the winner of this game will be favored and should be bet in that play-in 16. Iona, SIUE, American, whoever ends up being that 4th play-in 16, they get shipped to Dayton. All right. That's what we got for you here today. All college hoops, all the time here on the show. Tomorrow, it's a normal start time at 9 a.m., Alex and Kenny will be here. They'll have everything for you. Also, by the way, baseball starts this week with the Tokyo games of the Dodgers and the Cubs. We'll make sure to get our final thoughts on those win totals throughout the week here on the show. No special for the bracket tomorrow afternoon, but be on the lookout on Monday. We're going to have a whole bunch of regional previews coming to the YouTube page on Monday afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. Spencer McLaughlin, Jim Root, and more joining us on Monday. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Sean Drew Dog, thank you. I'm on my way to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Looking forward to it up at the Xfinity race today. If you happen to see me or Alex, come say hi if you happen to be up at the Speedway today for the Xfinity race. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you again next time. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.